So today this video is going to be all about how I create my go-to going out soft glam look. When I'm going out or when I'm going to be taking pictures, I like to do a look that I know is going to be flattering in any type of lighting, with any type of outfit, and I like to do something that I feel super confident in. So I usually use my favorite products, and I do my signature routine that I know works every single time. On my Instagram, I created a poll asking you guys what palette you wanted me to use. The choices were the KKW Classic or the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam and the Anastasia Palette 1. This is definitely something I reach for when I'm doing a night out kind of soft glam look. I mean, soft glam is the name, so it really is perfect. And I stuck with using more of the neutrals and the golds for this look because that's my preference when I want a soft smoky look. If you guys want to know how to get my go-to glam look, then keep on watching. Step one, I'm going to prime my skin. This is the Cover FX primer. This is their mattifying primer. So the main areas that I get really oily are in my T-zone, so I always apply my primer there first. I also find that this primer is a little bit smoothing, so it kind of blurs the look of pores, fine lines, all that good stuff. So the next thing that I always do when I'm getting glam is I brush my lash extensions. On my skin, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Blonde Stick. I like putting this on before I put my makeup on lately. I just really like the glow that it gives to my skin. I do also use it again after. This is Face and Body C7. So concealer under my eyes, I'm using the MAC NC42 Mineralized Concealer. I just find that the coverage and the way it applies is really nice. It's a little bit more on the hydrating side. I want a little bit of brightness, so I'm going to use the Studio Fix 24 Hour Concealer. And this one is in the shade NC40, so it's quite a few shades lighter than me. I'm just taking whatever is left on my sponge and doing the top of my eye to work as a base for my eyeshadow. And whatever's left, just kind of applying it to the center of my face. I love bronzing my skin. I'm going to use my LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is in the color Chestnut. I use this more like a bronzer than a contour, so I'm being very liberal with where I put it. So I've applied my contour down the sides of my nose, around the top of my forehead, in the cheekbone area, under the jaw, and then up a little bit. This gives you a really nice oval shape. The nose is kind of to complete the face. You would never want to do the rest of your face and not put anything on your nose. Even if it's simply dusting some bronzer on it, it will really complete the look of everything. If you have a small forehead already, don't bother putting anything there. For the cheekbones, I really go crazy with it. I'm gonna cut this out a little bit after, you'll see. And then I did around the lips because it gives you a little bit of a natural contour. To blend this out, I'm going to pick up my 116 brush again. I prefer to blend this using a brush for some reason. And you'll notice that as I'm blending in an upward motion. I'm not just blending it back and forth aimlessly. I'm doing little circles and I'm blending up And there's a reason for this, because the whole goal is that you really want to lift your face and make yourself look more awake, more, you know, contoured. So by blending up, we're going to achieve that. Same thing on this side, blending up in little circles. If you blend downwards, you will bring the look of your face kind of down. It'll make your face look really long. So now that I've applied my contour on my skin, I've blended it thoroughly, this is how my skin is looking. I am very much dewy right now, and I have oily skin. I do use a more dewy foundation, but I'm gonna powder the crap out of my face to make sure that I look matte. The reason that I use a dewy foundation is because I really like the coverage and the finish on the skin. Even after I bake, it looks like I'm not really wearing much makeup, so that's why I do this. So I'm using the Laura Mercier to bake, and I always use a damp beauty blender. Before you go ahead and set your under eye, just make sure it's blended out. I sometimes have smile lines, so I like setting them. My chin gets very shiny. I also like to set over my blemishes. I just find the powder helps them disappear. The Laura Mercier powder is really matte. If you don't have oily skin, I might suggest trying the Charlotte Tilbury powder, the RCMA powder. The Kryolan is really good for like normal to combination skin. One of those ones will probably work a lot better for you if you're not oily. But my skin be oily as hell, so this works really well for me. And I'm just taking whatever powder is left on my sponge and just going right over my eye so that when I add my shadow, it's not like wet and sticky. So my new thing when I'm baking is, rather than dusting the powder off, I use my damp beauty sponge to press the powder into my skin. Now some areas are going to absorb better than others, so I use the back of my sponge to really press it in if I need to. So personally, I find the method of pressing my baking powder into my skin works a lot better for me lately. I no longer dust it off. I've already baked once and it looks great, but I'm gonna go in and bake again. A big dunk. And once more, going in. I'm also gonna, at this point, clean up underneath where I've contoured slash bronzed. This is major key. This step just makes your face look so sculpted and nice. Sometimes I fuck up and do them uneven. I'm taking my sponge and really just pressing it in. And you'll notice that I'm not swiping, I'm patting and pressing, really bouncing this off of my face. But whenever I do cream products, I almost always do a powder product on top. This really sets your face and makes sure that everything lasts and looks flawless. I'm going to be using the Give Me Life bronzer from the MAC Patrick Star collection and my MAC brush in the 140. I love this bronzer and I love this brush. I always start in the cheekbones, and again, I'm blending in an upward motion. I used to hate when I had blonde hair because when I would add bronzer, it would make my edges like orange. I always go up just a tiny bit at the side of my chin, and then just kind of back and forth and down. On my nose, I like to take this brush and just kind of go at the sides up into the beginning of my eyebrow. And you'll notice that this brush is not super fine, super particular. I don't really care to do a super intense contour on my nose. That's just my preference, but everyone's different. Do what you wish. So something that I always do is I just like to take my bronzer and throw it in my crease. This is the same Give Me Life bronzer from the MAC Patrick Star collection. And I'm going to throw that in my crease as my neutral transitional color. I just found that this helped everything blend really nicely. This brush is a 224 from MAC. It is their fluffy tapered blending brush. This brush works great for somebody with a larger lid. If you have a smaller lid, I would suggest the 217. So I'm going to zoom you in so you can see a little bit better. But this is what I'm going to be using. I'm using the ABH Soft Glam palette. The first color I'm grabbing is Sienna, and this is on my 224 brush. I'm doing small window wiper motions back and forth in my crease and working in that outer V area to create a really nice soft and diffused look. Gotta do both sides, obvi. Next color is called Rustic. This one is a bit more of a cool kind of neutral brown, and I'm just kind of pressing that in the outer V and then fluffing it out with the brush that actually came in the ABH palette. I'm using the fluffy side of the brush and really just working that in. Next, I'm taking Cypress Umber. This is a really beautiful warm brown, and I'm stamping this along my lash line. It's gonna act as my eyeliner, so I'm not actually doing liner, I'm just using the shadow, and I'm really stamping it on to layer it, and I will wing it out just a little bit to create a subtle cat eye effect. I'm using the shorter, dense side of that brush to soften my liner and just giving my lashes a good comb. Anyone who wears lash extensions knows how badly they need to be combed after you do your makeup. This color is called Glistening, and I'm actually using my finger to apply it. I'm stamping it on to give a little bit of that glow to my lid. Using your finger is really similar to using like a brush with Fix Plus. It's not as intense, but it creates a really beautiful sheen, and I find that I have more control with my fingers as well. I'm taking a little bit of the color Fairy, and that one's just going right in the center. I'm just popping that on with my finger again and then kind of buffing the edges with my index finger. I'm taking the color Rustic to finish off this eye look, and I'm blending it in my lower lash line. I love putting shadow in my lower lash line. I feel like it really opens up the eyes. It's soft enough where it doesn't look too intense, but it still gives you a bit of drama. I'm actually going to go over this with a bit of Sienna just to give it a little bit more warmth, and that's basically it for this eye look. So my camera died, I put my hair up, touched up my accessories a little, ate some curry chicken, brushed my teeth, I'm back. So to finish off my eyes, I'm actually going to take the Stila Glitter and Glow. This is in Diamond Dust, and I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger and press it on the center of my lid. So I love the Too Faced Lip Injections Extreme Gloss. I use this during my getting ready process. You really want to layer it on. And it burns, okay? So if you're a wimp, don't use it. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to do my brows. And I know I'm doing this over powder, but it honestly doesn't really affect it. It doesn't make a difference. This I find really brightens under that brow, but in a nice natural way. And I'm blending this out with a 270 brush from MAC. My lip plumper, you can see, has definitely made my lips a little bit fuller. We're gonna wipe it off. If you can believe it, I'm literally already shiny. This is why I bake my face so much, so you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm actually gonna put a little bit more loose powder in here just to stop the shine from coming through. So at this point, I've quadruple baked my face. So I use my Laura Mercier and I just press it in with my down beauty sponge as always. NARS liquid blush. I love this stuff so much. Yes, it's liquid. Yes, I'm putting it on top of powder. It works for me. To highlight my skin, I'm pulling out my Fenty Blonde Stick and my 116 brush once again. Now, I did this in the beginning of the tutorial to give my skin a kind of glow from within, but I like doing it again. Lately I haven't been into too much highlight, so I'm just gonna put a little here. Like sweep a little under the brow bone. I've highlighted my face to my liking. I'm gonna take a MAC pigment. This one is in Blonde's Gold. I just like the tone of it for my inner corner. Taking my cork lip pencil, it looks a little busted, don't judge me. I added just a tiny bit of Stay Curious in the center of my lips. I just like the color it gives. And that's it. That is it for this tutorial, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, kind of step-by-step on how I create my soft glam going out makeup. This is something that I do every time if I'm going to be going out with my friends, or if I know I'm taking pictures. I always do something that I know I can trust, that I know I feel confident in, and that I know is going to be flattering in multiple different types of lighting. And this is the look that I pretty much do every time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. One more thing I wanted to mention, if you're curious what contacts I'm wearing, these are from TTDI, and they are in the color Love Me Brown. I actually really love them, and they're part of their new arrivals. So you can use my discount code, which is my name, Malrie, to get 10% off of all your purchases from TTDI. Let me know down below what you think of this look. Would you wear it? Would you add to it? And what do you think of the Anastasia Soft Glam palette? I feel like this is a palette that pretty much everyone should have. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Love ya. Bye.